Picture this. You are sitting in a chair.
Right.
And it's slightly too firm.
Oh, yeah, I know that chair.
Yeah, the air conditioning in the room is just a bit too cold, and your heart is just completely racing. Palms are sweating.
The classic interview setup.
Exactly. You are waiting for the hiring manager across the desk to drop the most common, yet absolutely terrifying question in the professional world.
Right. They look up from your resume.
They smile, and they say, "So tell me about yourself."
It is the ultimate interview cliche, and yet it completely paralyzes highly competent professionals every single time.
Every single time. Well, welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are pulling from a massive stack of expert English learning and conversation sources to give you the ultimate cheat code for this exact moment.
Which is so needed, honestly.
It totally is, because our mission today is to prove to you that you absolutely do not need a massive vocabulary or incredibly complex textbook perfect grammar to ace this question.
Right. You just need a simple strategic framework.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because I want to look at the psychology of why this specific question causes our brains to just completely freeze up.
It's a real phenomenon.
What is the interviewer actually looking for here? Because looking through our sources, it is abundantly clear that this is not just a polite way to start the meeting while they wait for their coffee to cool.
Oh, not at all. It feels scary precisely because it is completely open-ended. It's actually a highly strategic test, just masked as a polite icebreaker.
A test. So they're secretly grading you right out of the gate.
Exactly. In less than 1 minute, this single answer reveals your communication skills, your ability to structure your thoughts under pressure, and, well, your overall professionalism.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, they're evaluating your executive functioning. First impressions are just incredibly powerful, and they are forming a lasting opinion of you right then and there.
It's like being handed a microphone on a completely dark stage and someone just yelling, "Okay, perform."
That is exactly what it feels like. You have no parameters.
Right, you have no prompt. Suddenly you forget everything, including your own name.
I've always wondered, why is our instinct always to start our story from the day we were born?
The life documentary.
Yes, they have your resume right in front of them, right? They know where you went to school, yet we regress to, well, I was born in a small town.
It is entirely about cognitive overload.
Yeah.
It's a survival mechanism, basically.
A survival mechanism. Wait, really?
Yeah. When people feel put on the spot and overwhelmed by an open-ended question with no clear boundaries, they revert to chronological storytelling just to survive the moment.
Because it's easy.
Exactly. Your brain grabs the oldest, most concrete memory, like where you were born or where you went to elementary school, and it works forward because it feels like a safe, logical track to follow.
That makes so much sense. It requires very little processing power.
Right. But the interviewer doesn't want your life history. They are evaluating your professional identity.
Right. It's the difference between an autobiography and an elevator pitch.
Precise. And the other mistake people make, which I guess is another symptom of that same panic, is just listing random facts with no flow at all.
Oh, the data dump.
Yes. They say, I studied marketing, I like teamwork, I enjoy reading, I am a hard worker.
Right. There is no connective tissue there.
Exactly. It just sounds like a nervous data dump.
Well, because the speaker is just throwing attributes at the wall, hoping one of them sticks. And that brings us to a core rule we found repeatedly in the sources.
Which is?
Simple English spoken clearly is infinitely better than complex English spoken nervously.
That is the ultimate relief right there.
Yeah.
Simple English spoken clearly.
Yes. Your primary objective in that room is clarity, not trying to prove you swallowed a thesaurus.
Totally.
If you try to use complex SAT-level vocabulary that you aren't comfortable with, your delivery will fracture.
It shifts the entire goal of the interview. You aren't there to pass an advanced linguistics exam. You are there to communicate value. So how do we build that clarity? If the life documentary is out and the random list of facts is out, we clearly need a structure that forces the brain to stay on track.
This is where we introduce the ultimate solution from our sources. It's the present, past, future framework.
Oh, here is where it gets really interesting. This framework is a 3-part, or sometimes 4-part, if you explicitly add a skills section formula that keeps your answer perfectly balanced.
Right. You start with the present, move to the past, and end with the future.
It sounds almost too simple.
Well, what's fascinating here is that this specific timeline acts as UX design, user experience design, for both you and the interviewer.
Wait, UX design for a conversation?
Yeah. For you, it naturally prevents rambling because it creates rigid boundaries for your brain. It forces you to curate only the information that is strictly relevant to the job.
Okay, I see.
And for the interviewer, it packages your value in a narrative arc that is incredibly easy to follow.
And crucially, it keeps the length right in that psychological sweet spot. The sources say ideally you want to aim for 30 to 60 seconds.
Right, maybe a maximum.
Whereas the fiction just begins to drift. So let's break down the mechanics of the formula. Step one is the present.
The present is who you are right now. You simply state your current professional role or your current focus.
So what would that sound like?
So, for example, you could say, I am currently working as a customer service assistant with 2 years of experience in client communication.
Okay, yeah. It's clear, it's professional, and it anchors the listener immediately in your current value.
Exactly. And the sources note that you can actually adjust your tone during this present step based on the specific culture of the job you are applying for.
Right, the architecture stays the same, but the paint job changes.
Precisely. If you are applying for a highly analytical or traditional role, like an accounting position, your tone should reflect that precision.
Like being more formal.
Yeah. You might say, I am currently working as a junior accountant with over 3 years' experience managing complex financial reports. It's structured and grounded.
But if you are applying for a creative marketing role, you can inject a bit more, dynamic energy into that same structure.
Exactly.
You could say, I'm currently working as a digital marketing assistant where I manage social media campaigns. Same framework, different flavor. It shows you understand the room.
Exactly. You match the linguistic energy of the industry.
Yeah.
So once you've established that present anchor, you move to step 2, which is the past.
Right, the past.
This is your relevant background experience, and the operative word there is relevant.
I look at the past step like a bridge connecting who you were to who you are now. It's a way to cross over and show your trajectory.
I love that. A bridge.
Yeah. What it is not is a parking lot.
Yeah.
You don't want to set up camp on that bridge and list every single minor project you did in 2019.
That is a perfect analogy. You are just showing the interviewer the foundational proof of your current skills.
Right.
So, continuing our customer service example, you would cross that bridge by saying, before this, I worked in retail where I developed strong problem-solving skills and learned how to handle difficult situations calmly.
It's incredibly clean. You aren't detailing your daily duties at the retail job. You're extracting the specific skill-like problem-solving that proves you can do the customer service job you're interviewing for right now.
Exactly. You're curating. And then we arrive at the final step, the future.
The future. This connects your trajectory directly to their company.
Right. It answers the unspoken question hanging in the air, which is, why are you sitting in this chair today instead of staying at your current job?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could say, I'm now looking for an opportunity to contribute to a growing company and continue developing professionally.
Present, past, future.
I am currently, before this, and now I am looking for.
It takes all the guesswork out of the equation.
It really does. But I had to push back on this a little bit.
Okay.
If this framework is so universally recommended and every listener starts structuring their intro exactly like this, won't hiring managers catch on?
Ah, I see what you mean.
Like if they hear this exact cadence 40 times a week, doesn't it just turn you into another boring, predictable clone?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to separate the vessel from the water. The present, past, future framework is just the vessel.
Okay, explain that.
The interviewer isn't going to dock you points for being structured. In fact, they will be deeply relieved that you aren't wasting their time.
That's fair.
What differentiates you isn't a chaotic, unstructured format. It's the specific, authentic details you pour into that vessel. You avoid sounding like a clone by ensuring your past and future tie directly into your unique professional insights.
That makes a lot of sense. The structure is just a delivery mechanism. The substance is where you shine.
Exactly.
But what happens when the substance feels a bit, light? I'm thinking about the fresh graduates or career transitioners who are hit with the whole no experience panic.
Oh, that is such a common fear.
Right. If you don't have a robust past to draw from, how do you build that bridge?
The sources address this exact scenario quite extensively. If you are a student with no real job history, the absolute worst thing you can do is apologize for your lack of experience.
Really? Why is that?
Apologizing immediately frames you as a deficit. You're starting the conversation from a place of weakness.
Oh, I see. So what do you do instead?
Instead, you redefine what past means. You focus on your education, your academic research, and your team projects.
So you frame the university experience as your professional background.
Exactly.
Like saying, I recently graduated with a degree in business management. During my studies, I led several team projects that sharpened my project management and communication abilities.
That is perfect. You treat the classroom like a laboratory for your professional skills.
Oh, love that.
And for the future step, you say, I'm eager to apply my academic knowledge and leadership experience in a real-world professional environment.
It sounds so confident.
It is. The sources heavily emphasize that confidence in a junior interview comes from demonstrating high potential and clarity, not from pretending to have years of corporate experience you don't actually possess. You present your truth professionally.
Present your truth professionally. I love that framing. So the architecture of the answer is solid, but a great blueprint doesn't matter if the materials you build it with are weak.
That is very true.
Even if I nail the timeline, if my vocabulary sounds insecure, the whole thing just collapses. The sources gave some really strategic vocabulary upgrades, and what struck me is that we aren't talking about memorizing obscure dictionary words.
No, not at all.
We're talking about high-leverage linguistic framing.
That's exactly what it is. Using overly complex words often leads to mispronunciation or awkward phrasing, which completely undermines your authority.
Yeah, you just stumble over it.
Right. The goal is to make slight professional upgrades to basic sentences to shift the psychological framing of your role.
Let's analyze a few of these because I found them super helpful. A very common phrase is, I did many things.
Yes, very common.
It's factually true, but it sounds like a third grader describing their weekend. What is the high-leverage alternative?
You upgrade that to, I was responsible for managing.
Wow, the psychological shift there is huge. At a passive execution, I was responsible for managing implies ownership and strategy.
It totally changes how they see you.
Let's look at another one. A lot of English learners naturally want to convey their work ethic, so they say something like, I am hard work, which is a grammatical stumble, or I work very hard. How do we frame that better?
The superior framing is, I am known for being reliable.
Okay, so what does this all mean underneath the surface? Why is known for being reliable better than working hard?
Because working hard is an internal state that anyone can claim. It's unverified.
Nice.
But I'm known for implies external validation. It tells the interviewer that other people, like your former bosses or your colleagues, have recognized your consistency.
Right.
It establishes a professional reputation rather than just a personal opinion.
That is brilliant. It's a subtle shift that carries 10 times the weight. Okay, here's another one. I helped customers. It's nice, but it feels a bit subservient.
Yes, the word helped often frames you as a subordinate doing a favor. The structural upgrade is, I assisted clients in resolving issues efficiently.
Oh, that sounds so much better. By swapping help for assisted and customers for clients, you instantly elevate your status.
It's an instant upgrade.
Assisted frames you as a professional peer offering specialized expertise. The sources also recommend dropping in strong, simple adjectives to punch up your descriptions.
Right, words like organized, punctual, creative, reliable.
You don't need to say you are a synergistic paradigm shifter. You just need to say you are highly organized.
Exactly. And this same rule of simple, honest, strategic vocabulary applies if the interviewer pivots and asks you about your weaknesses.
Oh, the dreaded weakness question. It's the ultimate trap.
It is a trap if you try to outsmart it.
What do you mean?
The guidance here is crystal clear. Never give a fake, humble brag answer. Never say, my biggest weakness is that I work too hard and care too much.
Right, because hiring managers see right through it.
And it insults their intelligence. But conversely, don't just state a crippling flaw and stop talking. You have to introduce the mechanism of growth.
You have to show them that you are self-aware enough to manage the flaw.
Exactly.
Like saying, I can get nervous when presenting to large groups, but I've started taking public speaking workshops to manage that anxiety.
Yes. Or I can be overly detail-oriented, but I am learning to use project management software to keep my time balanced.
Right. You are admitting a real human trait, but showing you are actively solving it.
Precisely. And this ties directly back to what we discussed earlier regarding authenticity. You aren't reciting a flawless, robotic script. You are telling your truth just in a highly structured way.
Yeah, that's key.
And to avoid sounding robotic throughout your present, past, future timeline, the sources strongly suggest injecting a tiny hook, a statement of why you genuinely enjoy the work.
To give the interviewer a glimpse of the human being behind the resume.
Right.
So in that creative marketing example from earlier, instead of just listing your campaign duties, you could add, I particularly enjoy designing campaigns that connect emotionally with our audience.
Yes. It's
Yeah, that
so
little
fair.
phrase, I particularly enjoy, injects a pulse into the structure. It shows passion, it breaks the rhythm, and makes the interviewer see you as someone who actually cares about the outcome.
Exactly. You are giving them the structure they need to understand your background, but you are seasoning it with your actual personality.
Which is so important.
And that leads us to a critical realization. The words are only half the battle. How you physically deliver this framework dictates whether the interviewer actually believes you.
The silent communicators. We can't ignore the nonverbal aspects of the interview. The sources had profound insights on delivery, the use of pauses, and the major red flags to avoid. Let's start with the physical delivery.
Your physical delivery sets the baseline for your perceived confidence. You need to sit straight, which opens up your diaphragm for better breathing.
Okay, sit straight.
Relax your shoulders to remove visible tension and maintain natural eye contact.
Natural being the operative word there.
Yeah.
The sources specifically warned against staring like an unblinking robot.
Yes, unbroken staring triggers a threat response in the brain. It's highly alarming.
That's terrifying, yeah.
You want to look at them, but remember it's a conversation, not an interrogation. Smile slightly, because it warms the tone of your voice.
And crucially, especially for English learners, speak slightly slower than your normal conversational pace.
Right.
Because we naturally speed up when we are nervous. We just want the ordeal to be over. We want to rush to the finish line. But why is deliberately slowing down so critical?
Aside from making you appear more authoritative, slowing down serves a vital mechanical purpose. It helps you keep control of your pronunciation.
Oh, that makes sense.
When you rush, your mouth can't keep up with your brain. You trip over syllables, which makes you self-conscious, which makes you more nervous, and it creates a downward spiral of panic.
Yeah, we've all been in that spiral.
Speaking slower is a deliberate physical mechanism to maintain cognitive control.
Which perfectly sets up one of the most fascinating techniques we found in the sources, the intelligent pause.
Oh, this is a masterclass technique.
It really is.
When you are feeling nervous, or when the interviewer first drops the "tell me about yourself" question, taking a deliberate 1 to 2 second pause before answering gives your brain back its control.
It is agonizingly hard to do in the moment, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Your adrenaline is just screaming, answer immediately or they'll think you're incompetent. We are so terrified of silence because we think it signals a lack of preparation.
Right. But what we don't realize is that taking a deliberate breath actually projects massive authority.
That is so counterintuitive.
This raises an important question regarding how we view silence in high-stakes environments. We are conditioned to view hesitation as a weakness.
Totally.
But in an interview, intentional silence is a power reset. Pausing before you speak, and pausing between your present, your past, and your future ideas proves that you are thoughtful.
Right.
It shows that you are actively constructing your response, not just vomiting a memorized script.
It transfers the conversational authority back to you. You are controlling the pacing of the room. Now, let's flip it and look at the things that actively destroy your authority. The red flags.
Oh, yes, the red flags.
The sources outlined a few things you should absolutely never do when answering this opening question. Number 1, violating the time limit.
We mentioned the 90-second maximum earlier. If you speak for more than 90 seconds on this initial question, you fail the unspoken test of executive functioning.
Because it shows a lack of focus.
Exactly. It shows an inability to summarize complex information. You basically become tiring to listen to.
Red flag number 2, speaking negatively about past employers.
Never do this. Regardless of how toxic your last workplace objectively was.
Even if it was awful.
Even if it was awful. If you say, my last manager was terrible and the company was falling apart, you immediately introduce a negative linguistic framing to your own brand.
That makes sense.
The interviewer will subconsciously associate you with drama, and they will inevitably wonder, what is this person going to say about us in 6 months?
You look like a liability. Instead, you use the positive trajectory upgrade we talked about. You say, I'm looking for an environment that offers new challenges and growth opportunity.
Yes, much better.
It addresses the exact same reality, right? You want to leave. But it frames it around your ambition rather than your grievances. And red flag number 3, oversharing personal details.
Oh, like, I have 3 cats, I love the color blue, and I'm currently remodeling my kitchen.
Exactly. Why do people do that?
When people feel professional rapport failing, they often panic and try to build personal rapport by oversharing.
Right.
Unless you are specifically applying for a job at a veterinary clinic or an interior design firm, leave the overly personal details out of this initial answer. Keep the boundary professional.
Which brings us to the most powerful, yet totally counterintuitive piece of advice in the entire stack of sources. We've talked about the intelligent pause, but this is different. This is the golden rule of stopping.
Yes. Once you finish your present, past, future structure, once you have clearly stated your goal for the future, stop speaking.
Just sit in the silence.
Yeah.
I really want to emphasize how much psychological power there is in simply stopping.
It's massive.
Confidence includes knowing when you have made your point. When you finish your sentence, you have effectively handed them the conversational ball. If you keep talking just to fill the silence, you're essentially juggling nervously in front of them.
Right.
You dilute the impact of everything you just said.
Exactly. Let the interviewer do their job and continue the conversation. If you keep appending weak thoughts like, so, yeah, that's me, or, and I guess that's why I'm here.
Oh, I've definitely done that.
We all have. But it undermines your own structural brilliance. Say your piece, land the plane, and sit comfortably in the silence that follows.
Land the plane. I love that. Okay, let's bring all of these mechanisms together. We've covered a massive amount of ground today on how to decode and conquer the tell me about yourself trap.
We have. And it all hinges on shifting your perspective from passing a language test to communicating your professional value.
Right. So to recap the strategy, you do not need a massive, complex vocabulary. You are absolutely not giving them a chronological life documentary.
No documentaries.
You're giving them your curated professional identity using the present, past, and future method.
Who are you?
What relevant experience or academic trajectory brought you here, and why do you want to contribute to their company?
And keep the entire package between 45 and 90 seconds. Utilize high-leverage linguistic framing.
Upgrade basic words like helped to assisted.
And hard work to known for being reliable. But remember that clarity always supersedes complexity. If your English grammar is not 100% perfect, that is perfectly fine.
Exactly. Sit up straight to open your breathing. Use intelligent pauses to maintain cognitive control. And when you finish your framework, just stop speaking.
Land the plane.
Land the plane. I highly encourage you to practice these mechanics out loud. Stand in front of a mirror or record yourself on your phone and run through it until the present, past, future flow feels like muscle memory.
It takes deliberate practice, but the ability to frame your own narrative is one of the most highly learnable skills in the professional world.
It really is. Now, to leave you with one final thought based on everything we've analyzed today, think back to that cold room, the slightly too firm chair, the terrifying moment they look up and ask you to tell them about yourself.
The moment of truth.
When you successfully structure your answer using this exact method, you aren't just surviving a single introductory question. You're establishing the precise psychological lens through which that interviewer will view every other answer you give for the rest of the meeting.
Wow.
You aren't just reciting your history. You are handing them the map to your value.
A structurally sound start dictates the authority of the entire conversation that follows.
Exactly. You are the architect of your own first impression. So take a deliberate breath, trust your framework, and go show them exactly what you can do. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.